Welcome to Baxter's weekly yoga balance pose. I'm Baxter Bell, and we're here at the Oakland Yoga Studio thanks to my good friend Jin Sung, the owner. And this week I'd like to share with you a pose I'm either going to call I felt the earth move under my feet, quite literally, or the slouchy toy. When I was a kid, we used to have this little toy that had a circular base and a figurine sitting on top of it. And when you push up on the spring-loaded bottom, the little figure would kind of droop or slouch over to one side, and when you release that spring, it would pop right back up. Just this past Monday in Oakland, California, we had a 4.0 earthquake at 6:49 in the morning. I happened to be pouring my tea, my hot water for my tea, and in that moment I felt like that toy because my knees actually buckled in an unconscious response to the shaking of the earth. And I think it was really a reflex, probably an ancient reflex, designed to keep my balance when things got unsteady. So we're going to do this little pose with the help of two, preferably plastic blocks, but cork blocks work well. Wooden blocks aren't going to give you the same feel. What you're going to do is you're going to set them up so they're about hip distance apart, and you're going to stand up on the blocks. And you're going to just, for a moment, shift your weight a little to the right and left, a little forward and back, circling around a little bit with your weight, maybe doing your little hip circles. And as you're doing that, I really want you to notice the feeling of the earth feeling a little unstable under your feet by virtue of the plastic quality of the blocks and their softness. So they're much softer than the wooden floor you might normally stand on or practice on. And then come back to center for a moment. And then I want you to imagine you're like that little slouchy toy, and I want you to kind of slouch by bending your knees and slouching over to your right a little bit, like you're leaning out into space. And then as you imagine the spring-loaded device being unloaded, feel yourself come back up into mountain pose. And then if you press over to the other side, you slouch over to the left a little bit and hang out over there for a moment, and then press back up to center. Now let's go back to the, and actually we can do this forward. We can kind of slouch forward a little bit, butt goes back in space. And then the last direction is a little more worrisome or fearful producing, so you want to kind of go back a little bit as you bend your knees forward, kind of slouching back a little bit, and then coming right back up. Let's do our little slouchy toy maneuver to the right, and then make the right leg strong with the knee bent. Let your arms come a little bit out, and then just lift up your foot for a second. Notice if that's easy or challenging today with your knee bent and you're up on a block, and then bring your foot back down. Come back to mountain pose, and then do slouchy over to the other side. Kind of get yourself kind of loosey-goosey at first. Make that left leg strong, and see if you can lift the right foot up for a moment. Just let your gaze be comfortable, and then come back to center. All right? And then step down and off for a moment. Now, the flat surface of the block is fairly stable. If you decide to go up to the higher height, know that it's much more unstable. Be close to a wall, maybe have some cushioning around you. I want you to be very careful. In fact, you might watch this through first before you try it. So I'm going to turn the blocks up a click so they're on their middle height, and then I'm going to come up very carefully because, again, the tendency is for these things to pop out, and I don't want you to sprain your ankle. So be very mindful. You might just work on the flat surface of the blocks and not come up to the middle height. Bend your knees, get slouchy over to the right, then come back up to center. Bend your knees, get slouchy over to the left a little bit, come back to center. And then being very mindful as you slouch to the right and try to lift your right foot up, then maybe you just lift the heel up. Maybe if you lift the ball of the foot up, you bring it right back down. Maybe you hang out for full breath. But take your time experimenting with that because, again, the blocks are much more likely to rock to the side. Go over to your left a little bit. Again, you might just lift the heel up and down. You might lift the whole foot for a moment. You might lift it up for a longer moment. And then come back to center. And then step off and feel the firmness and the solidity of the floor beneath you. So again, I felt the earth move under my feet. I actually did. It was a pretty exciting moment there a couple days ago. Or the slouchy toy. Little practice for your balance today using blocks. Have fun with that. Be very mindful that you're close to support if you need it. Until the next time, have a great week. You can find more about my work at baxterbell.com. Please follow my blog, Yoga for Healthy Aging. And starting Labor Day 2015, please visit me on yogauonline.com and check out the new practice channel where I'm featured as one of the 5 main teachers on that channel. Until next time, namaste.